Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Pendragon Rising with me, Alfapiomega. I'm getting really excited for this story because it's developing really well, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who wants to see Bedivere flip his shit and jump off a palisade. So let's get on with it, shall we? Chapter 6, The Cursed Village. Hold up a moment, Owain. Let me catch my breath. It's my stomach. I reckon I've got what Thomas had. The fish was bad. I told you that last night. Well, what was I to do? Go without? I'll be alright. Just wait up a while. Did you hear? Riders have come from King Uther, trying to get us to fight for him, I suppose. Can't see as who waves a flag with a dragon on it makes any difference to us. It might make a difference to stopping the Saxons, the bastards. I saw in it 2 days back. Her whole herd gone, not stolen. Slaughtered and left to rot. In the spring, too. There'll be no lambs. So what'll her people eat come next winter? But why would someone do... Why have you stopped? Look. 5 saplings, bark scorched, forming a circle, a burned shape traced out on the ground. The smell of blood and entrails. At the foot of each sapling, a blackened sheep's skull. Gods, Owain, what is this? Magics. Dark magics. I don't know what... Wait, there's something moving. Gods and fishes. Who are you people? What do you... The first man dies. Heart torn from his body. Don't, please don't. The second man vests his breeches. No, not you. You will live. Tell your king Cadell this. We have laid a curse upon this village. A curse of sickness. It is a warning to him. If he allies himself with Uther, then that sickness will spread across all the people of his lands, killing every creature it touches, until it reaches his heart. Do you understand me? Yes. That is so you do not forget. Now go. What the hell is that thing? Well, we'll have to face it anyway, pretty soon, I'm sure. By the way, let's look at our stats. Arthur the Stalwart. Leader 83%, Diplomat 72%, Warrior 11. A bit more ruthless than compassionate, a lot more cunning than bravado, and quite a lot more old faith than Rome. We are beloved but still have only a few allies. So let's hope it's gonna be fixed by end of this chapter. You fell back to ride next to Kai. He greets you with an exasperated sigh. And so, what does our royal host have to say for himself? Oh, what did you expect? That Uther is weak and cannot with Britain, that I am not a suitable candidate for war leader, that the land of Powys cannot support Gwynedd, that we should support him in place of Uther. Shame. The two of you seemed to be getting on. King Cadell is perfectly civil. Just convince he's right. Perhaps he is. So much for finding allies. There's no alliance to be found here. No. All we'll return with are sore posteriors from riding these poor bony little creatures. Kai slaps the pony's flank. Why doesn't Britain have any decent horse, Art? You should bring some over the water. With what coin? And who would we find to ride them? Oh, I don't know, but sitting on this dwarf, doesn't it make you feel, well, silly? Gawain, riding nearby, chuckles. Kai bristles. Don't you laugh, Northman. You look even stupider, given you're a foot taller than me, and I swear they have given you the smallest beast, poor thing. This is a king's boar hunt, up Hector, not a battle charge. A pony's damn sight more sure-footed than one of your Roman stallions, and you knock your head on fewer branches. Bah, boar hunt. I haven't seen hide nor hair or a rabbit, let alone any wild pigs. I could wave my spear at that squirrel if you think it would help. It's going to be a long day. Still, it's good to be out of the oppressive atmosphere of Dinas and Riss. Cynric's escape angered and frustrated everyone, and blame has been tossed around liberally. The strangeness of it, people aren't open to talking, but the rumors rumble on behind everything else. You look back over your companions, all riding in the tail of the train of Cadell, king of Powys. Gawain, who was growing restless, cooped up in Dinas Emrys, who'd succeeded in irritating Bedwyr so much that he ordered the Wanderer out with you, Morgan, who had quietly insisted she join you, possibly at Vivian's urging, and Kai, who thought that visiting a foreign king might be more fun, having exhausted the good wine. King Cadell has made it clear that he has other people of more importance to talk to at the front of the pack, so who will you ride next to for the day's hunt? Gawain, Morgan, Kai, or Emrys? I don't know, not Morgan. Gawain seems like a good choice. Kai is cool, but not really, and Emrys is intelligent, but let's go with Gawain. He has been a perfect ally for us. I kinda miss the fact that we don't see how good we're doing with people, so let's go with Gawain. You settle your mount back next to Gawain. How goes it? He smiles. I was thinking how little your foster brother would enjoy a trip to my home. Do you have women and wine? If so, he'd find a way to cope. We have both, but not in abundance, and both have a tendency to sourness. He sees your expression. Seriously, you should meet my mother. But come, Arthur, there's something on your mind. Out with it. A couple of options here. Cynric. What we saw at the end there, I swear he changed. I swear I saw claws. Or Uther. Emrys says he'll live, but he'll never recover. So what happens now? Or me, as war leader, you supported me when others wouldn't. Why? Or, I know this might be somewhat unexpected, but I was wondering if you were promised to anyone. What? Am I hitting on him? So, no. Emrys says, this one, me as a war leader, I don't think I should really question this one. So either Cynric or Uther. Cynric or Uther. I guess Uther, that seems a bit better of a choice. So Uther. He looks at you. I don't know the answer to that. Can he still be a king of Gwynedd, truly? He can do whatever he wills, so long as the people and the priests follow him. As to whether they will, he shrugs. I don't know. But this argument between you and Bedwyr, it helps nothing. He breaks off, head up, intent. What's that? You hear a choked sobbing, and a man staggers from the tree line. In his arms, he cradles a lifeless body, a child. King Cadell, he cries, tears streaming down his face. Is the king with you? While the king is fetched, the child is taken gently from the man's arms and laid down on a blanket. She's dead. Emrys quickly confirms it with a solemn shake of head. But there is no mark upon her. The man sits and sobs, head buried in his hands, on a grass among the trees until his king comes to him. King Cadell is a gentleman. He kneels next to the mourner, hand on his shoulder, comforting him, letting him sob until the man has a measure of control of himself. I am sorry, my lord, he says at last. I am Hefin, of Pen Eulfan. You called for me, says the king. What has happened to you? A curse, says Hefin, staring at nothing. A curse, my lord. The Saxons have cursed us, and that curse will not be lifted. It is a warning to you, lord. Do not ally with Uther. If you do, they say all your kingdom will perish. The king shoots a puzzled glance at you. What curse? And how is it known? Hefin recounts the tale of villagemen who were waylaid by the Saxons in the woods, and of the dark magics worked there, and the braid-haired Saxon's words. "It is a sickness, lord," he says. "Many in the village have it. She... He cannot look at the body, and the tears start once more. Emrys looks alarmed. "A sickness," he mutters to you. "We must be very careful here, Arthur." "I will not be driven to my decisions by the Saxons," says King Cadell, his look taking in both you and Hefin. "But such magics are something that a man such as I can defeat, not alone. Only God can do that. I will send men to scour the forest for the Saxons, and I myself will ride, now, for Hellwall, the priest of the chapel on the marsh. He keeps a powerful relic there, the bones of Saint Stephanus. He is a holy, Christian man whose knowledge of the scripture is deep. He will lift the curse if any can." "That's a long journey," says Morgan carefully. "Is there naught that can be done for these people in the meantime? I volunteer my services. If I can be of help, I will be." You can see that she's unconvinced by Cadell's solution. Kai's face is pale. "You're suggesting we go to a village full of sick people. And how else could we help them?" "Perhaps Emrys or Morgan can be of aid," says Gawain quietly to you. "If so, it might win Cadell to our cause." "It makes sense. We'll go to the village, King Cadell. By your leave, if only to protect the people there." The king considers you for a moment and then nods. "Very well." Well, this seems like a double-edged axe to me. You head east until you find a small river, and you follow its banks into a steep valley below rocky hills. Here lies the village of Pen Elfan, a place that survives on its herds and on the copper that's cut from a seam in a nearby cliffside. The village is grey and solemn, and the village elder the same. Her name is Brave. "What would you?" she asks, eyes hollow and tired. "You offer aid? Then lift the curse, but I doubt you can. So you may aid us in fetching, carrying and tending the sick, for near half the village is laid up with the bloody flux, but your finery will suffer for it, I think." "We'd like to examine one of your folk," says Emrys. "Perhaps there is something we can do to ease their suffering." She massages her bony fingers. "I'll not have you disturbing them overmuch. This is no place for gawkers. One of you may come." Kai shudders. "Not me," he says in a low voice. "And if you take my advice, you'll keep well clear of the sick art. This could well be catching." "Morgan, it should be you. You can determine whether this is truly a curse at work. Emrys, will you go? Your Roman training may mean you see something others miss." Or Kai's right. It's dangerous to get too close. We shouldn't risk that. Well, this seems like another choice between Old Faith and Rome. I think I'm gonna choose Morgan again. Oh god, I hope she won't die. Morgan nods. She follows Brave into one of the huts. Did that? Yeah, it did. While you wait, you look around the village. A few people are up and around, seemingly not laid up with sickness, but spending their time aiding those who are ill or concerning themselves with vital tasks, such as hunting. Most bear some sort of weapon, even crude sticks, presumably to guard against Saxons. There is a grim mood on the place. "Many of these huts are empty," says Kai with a shiver. "They can't all have died already, can they?" "From what Brave says, only a handful of the elderly and very young have died thus far," says Gawain. "Pen Elfan was once a much busier place, if I remember it rightly. Their mine produced a great deal of copper. There's little left there now, so people have moved on. I'm surprised they haven't all just upped and left with all this. It's a hard thing to leave your home." At length, Morgan emerges from the hut, a troubled look on her face. "I do not know what this is. It could be an illness, but the onset is very sudden, and I don't understand how it only affects some of the people here, while others seem untouched. I think we need to look deeper. Perhaps it is a curse. What do you suggest? You ask, looking around the group. Kai's mouth twists. I vote for going somewhere else entirely. Morgan glares at him. There is a counter charm I could perform, she says. It might be effective against a curse of this nature, if indeed it is a curse. Emrys raises his eyebrows. Yes, well, that's certainly a possibility. Or our time might be better spent questioning the locals to find out more about how the illness spreads. We've got a simple answer, says Gawain. We track down the Saxons and make them tell us what they've done. I think we should try Morgan's counter-charm. Or Emrys is right, the spread of this sickness is a mystery, we should talk to people. Or Gawain's idea is the simplest, let's track down the Saxons and get an answer from them. I really trust Morgan. It seems like in this game, magic has a lot to do, so let's try the counter-charm. It's rare to be a witness to any of the mysteries of the old faith, but Morgan assures you that this is no great secret. As I said, it is a counter-charm, she says. Vivian uses it when it's thought that someone is under some sort of influence or curse, where their actions are no longer their own, or they are suffering unwarranted ill fortune. Did that again increase our old faith? I think it was 71, so now we're at 73? Or maybe I'm mistaken. Kai mutters something under his breath. Morgan shoots him a hard look. He stomps off, kicking at the mud. Have you done this before? Asks Emrys. He's pulled out a sheaf of paper and a quill, to Morgan's slight consternation. Yes, she says. This isn't something which should be written down, Wanderer. Emrys blinks. Why not? It just shouldn't. Very well, very well. He stuffs the quill behind his ear while Morgan sets out 6 stones upon the ground in the front of where she sits, pulling them from her with a bag. Each is worn smooth, as if by running water, and has a hollow in the top like a thumb has worn away at it. She moves them until they stand in a circle. There's a careful order to their placement. With a long-bladed knife, she traces a pattern that spirals from the circle's center and reaches out to enclose each stone. Then she tips a small amount of liquid into the hollow of each stone from a waxed vessel. What is that? Asks Emrys. Morgan just shakes her head and smiles. Then she raises the knife and then nicks the back of her hand, allowing a drop of blood to fall into each hollow. Fetch fire, she says to Gawain. He does so, uncomplaining, returning with a lit taper from a brazier. She touches it to each stone, and a flame springs up in it, and a faint trail of sickly sweet smoke rises, and then Morgan closes her eyes and begins to sing. This seems so cool. It's a low tone, the words rolling and sonorous, liquid honey to the ears. The sound flow around her. You can make no sense of them, save for some names you recognize. Ariarhod, Gwydion, powerful names, but somehow the world has changed. Morgan is real, more real than you've known her, a weight on the world, and everything is focused towards her. It feels as if a dam is about to burst, or if thunder is gathering. There is power here, real power, and you're not sure why that should surprise you, but it does. Morgan, this is a side of her you have never seen. You look up. Kai's returned. He's sitting, staring at Morgan, white-faced. Emrys is leaning forward, intent. Gawain's face is unreadable. The words continue to flow, and then Morgan holds both hands out in front of her, fingers splayed, takes a breath, holds it for a moment, and then releases it. The tension snaps. The flames go out, leaving a cloud of smoke, and in it is just Morgan again, coughing. You get a lungful of the stuff as well, and join her in spasms. It's bitter and sweet. She manages to laugh. Sorry, I'd forgotten about that. She waves it away, eyes watering. Well? Asks Emrys. Morgan sits for a moment and collects her thoughts. It's no curse, she says. That's queer. But as to what it is, she frowns. Something to do with the river? I saw blood in the water. Emrys lets out a small sigh. Of course. That's why the spread of the illness is so odd. It's in the water. I'll lay good odds on the healthy people not having drunk from the river. He looks at you. We should follow the river, Arthur, and see what it tells us. He puts away his riding tools and starts off. Kai lays a hand on your shoulder to stop you as the others leave. He's pale and shakes his head in slow disbelief. What are we doing, Arthur? I don't know what that was, but do you believe it? It seems to have worked, Kai. It's going to help us help these people. That's what's important. Or, the old magics are real. They're a part of living here, brother. I felt something. Didn't you? Or, I'm not sure. Perhaps it is trickery. But I don't have a better idea. Not now. I don't know either. And I'm not comfortable with it. It felt wrong. I'm gonna go with the old magics are real. They're a part of living here, brother. Yep, that improved our standing. It started to spit with rain as you work your way up the river bank. The water is swift and clear. At least it is until, after perhaps half an hour walking, you push through undergrowth to find yourself looking up a rocky outcrop. A waterfall spills down it into a pool at the base. There, says Gawain, voice grim. You can smell the foulness. The water in the pool is a red, tingled, bloody brown. Kai goes white. Emrys, what do we do? Can we stop this? He covers his mouth. Emrys is looking at the rock face. Up there, he says. The water coming down is red. Whatever's fouled it is somewhere there, up above. Morgan has taken several steps backwards and cranes her neck to look up. There's a way in, she calls. A sort of a cave, I think. Looks like the way is narrow. That's it then, says Gawain. That's the source. I suppose one of us has to go inside? Asks Kai in a less than a cheerful tone. I'll go. Or, Gawain, it should be you. You're the best able to defend yourself should the Saxons have got there before us. Morgan, you're lighter on your feet and a better climber than the rest of us. Will you go? Or, Emrys, you're most likely to be able to work out what they've done. Can you go up? Or Kai, you've drawn the short straw. Damn. This is tough. This is tough. Who are we going to send in? Gawain could best defend himself. Morgan is the priest, so she could defend herself against magic. Emrys is the wanderer. I guess Gawain? It's not magic, so... No, let's send Morgan. She raises an eyebrow at you and hands you her bow. Then, with Gawain helping to boost her up, she clambers up the rock face, disappearing over the top. Looks like the stream does go into the cave, she calls down. That's definitely where the foulness comes from. The air's thick with it. I'm going to try to get in. There's silence for a while, and then you hear faintly a curse. Morgan? Calls Kai, concerned. It's all right, comes the response, louder now. You see her appear at the edge of the rocks, face pale. The place is full of carcasses, sheep carcasses. They've been there for a while. We'll have to get them out. I'll come up, says Gawain. There's no room, she says. Pass me up a spear, would you? And stand clear below. Oh my gosh, she's going to hurl them at us. By the time King Cadell returns with the holy man, the sickness is lifting. You have carried the carcasses away to where they won't molder into the river, and fresh water is flowing again. Impressed, Cadell turned to you for an explanation. It seems the curse is lifted. My people say that you had a hand in it. How was this managed? There was no curse. Cynric's men had killed one of your flocks and poisoned the stream of the corpses. Or why? Morgan is the daughter of Vivian of the Isle. Her power was greater than that of the Saxons. She lifted the curse. Or why? I take the king aside. Morgan is powerful, King Cadell. She has cast a counter-charm against the curse, but it saps her strength to do so. If you provide men to our fight, she can concentrate on keeping her lands free of the curse. No, I'm gonna be honest with him. I'm gonna tell him the truth. There was no curse. Cadell deflates, as if a little disappointed that this wasn't the work of dark magics. I see. You're to be commended, then, on finding the source of this trouble. Is there aught I can do for you in return? Men, you say. There's war, King Cadell. The kingdoms of Britain must be united on this, or the Saxons will cut us down one by one. If you stand with us, then others will follow your example. The other kings respect you and will follow your lead. Cadell looks at you carefully. I think I've misjudged you, Arthur of Uther. Yes, 2 kingdoms together is better than 2 kingdoms apart. You'll have my support when it's needed. I'll give you men and provisions. Lead them well. As you ride away, Emrys congratulates you. That was well done, Arthur. Those men are a good start. Perhaps it will change other people's minds to see Cadell standing with us. Yes, we've done it. Acclaim, beloved. Allies scattered. King Cadell of Poets, but we have an ally. That is impressive. So, yes, that's the end of chapter that we have just done. I think that's chapter 5, isn't it? Chapter 5, yes. No, that was chapter 6. Okay, so that was chapter 6. I hope you enjoyed it, and you will join me next time for some more Pendragon Rising. It's definitely getting more and more interesting.